Hi, my name is Rich. I use the he, him pronouns, and you're watching my YouTube channel where I play amazing tabletop role-playing games with friends. This is part of an anthology ongoing campaign called Star Wars Saturdays. Yes, I'm running out on a Sunday. So it's SWS for short. So called because I usually write it on a Saturday, but occasionally a Sunday. And it is Star Wars. The anthology series means that every month I choose a different RPG system. Here we are on August 1st, kicking off with a game I call Swoop Gangs. So Swoop Gangs originally began life as a game from Creepy Doll Studios called 1%er, the outlaw biker gang game. Really cool. Inspired by actual motorcycle clubs in the real world, and shows like Sons of Anarchy. It's a great system. I adore the 1%er engine. And way back when I was first kicking off the idea of Star Wars Saturdays, this ongoing anthology campaign that I run for the Gauntlet community, I first hacked it and called it 1%er Swoop Gangs, because I'm like, hey, motorcycle club in Star Wars, they have speeder bikes and swoop bikes, and I actually found out like recently that there was in the 90s during the West End Games D6 Star Wars, there was like a Swoop Gangs short story that was put out in one of the Star Wars Insiders magazines. So I went and found a way to read that because it's super out of print, and read through. It was a super cool little story. So yeah, Swoop Gangs is that. It's motorcycle biker stuff mixed in with swoop bike stuff. So it's really fun. The characters are criminals, but they're criminals with a heart. If you've seen Sons of Anarchy, that I love that series, watched the whole thing start to finish, really enjoyed it. Big influence on how I run this game. And if you haven't seen it, that's fine. It just basically is, hey, these bikers are not on the right side of the law, but they also have a strong bond to each other and a sense of community. So while the cops are usually corrupt in Sons of Anarchy, where we have stormtroopers, so ready-made corruption right there for you. So it works really well. And in this game, yes, they'll be doing crimes, but they have a certain amount of morals, things they do and don't do. A lot of fraternal, like not, I want to say brotherhood, but all genders welcome within Swoop Gangs, because it's like lots and lots of different alien species, because Star Wars, which is really fun. So it's a violent, but also occasionally like heartfelt kind of game. Definitely a like PG-13 bleeding towards R. We do have safety tools, but just like to give a very abbreviated CATS. That's the general scope and the feel for the Sith Riders. That's a scary name. That's the general feel for Swoop Gangs, as I'm calling it. We do have safety tools for this game. The safety tools that we are using for this game are lines, which is this a line we do not cross. So you put any content in there, I'm going to do everything I can to work around it. And if I accidentally throw it in, anyone can call me on it. It's a line. We don't cross it, right? Our lines are harm to children and sexual assault, violence, and coercion, which means there's no, sure, these are bad guys, but that's stuff they don't do. They don't harm kids, and no one ends up in sexually violent. And I don't care about reality. It's freaking Star Wars, right? This is our reality. So they're bad guys, but these are lines that aren't crossed. We have veils. Veils are things where we're like, okay, this content exists. We don't want to shine a light on it. I don't want to have to like get into the nitty gritty on a particular thing. We agree it happened. Sexual content and torture by PCs, player characters, torture by PCs, sexual content. We have veils on those, which means, like I said, we'd fade to black or we'd do a star wipe, whatever. And then we have ask first. These are the ones where it's like, it's situational. So if you have an inclination towards this particular content, like, oh, I have a cool idea of X, and it includes animal abuse, midichlorians. I put that one in there. I raised my hand. I put that one in there because some people get really tweaked about midichlorians, and I'd rather us check in at the table so any one person can say, hey, I was thinking my guy might have a high midichlorian count. Is that cool? And someone's like, I really don't want to deal with that. That is not my flavor of Star Wars. Just say, hey, can you try it a different way? And we'll do it. I don't know why, but like imp count for me, like didn't bother me in Mandalorian. I don't know why. Like that's stupid. Midichlorians didn't make me mad. It was just one of those like eye rolling moments of like we went from faith to like, oh no, it's got to have science, but it's science fantasy, so I don't hate it. I've grown to accept it. We also have suicide is ask first, harm to animals ask first, homophobia, racism, and speciesism. Cool. Okay, I'm glad that I said that out loud because in a Swoop Gangs game, I occasionally will have certain characters use species insults on other characters. So I'll do my best to be mindful of that. If I screw up, call me on it. I won't get defensive. I'll be like, sorry. We'll pull it out. Also on top of lines, fails, and ask first, we have X card. X card is a full stop. You didn't realize that we would be dealing with this thing, or it's something that affected you right here in the moment, and you are bothered. It's to the point where you don't feel comfortable, and you're like, ooh, this is causing me to want to withdraw from the game. Please don't. Just say, hey, I need to X card this. I'm, again, not going to be defensive. I may ask you what it was, just so I know what has been X-carded, but I'm not going to ask you to tell me the story of why. You don't have to defend yourself. There's not going to be an open discussion of, but really, can we have the... No, you've X-carded it. That's all that has to happen. We excise it from our play, and then we'll move on. We've got 6 incredibly intelligent, creative Star Wars nerds. There's nothing that can blockade us from having a good time. Guaranteed we'll be fine. So those are all of our safety tools. We also have open door. So if you need to go. You're a grown-ass person. If you've got a thing you got to take care of that's outside of this looking at a camera for Zoom, that's totally cool. If you know how long it'll be, give me a heads up. If you disappear and you're gone for like 10-ish minutes, well, if you're gone for like 2 minutes, I'm going to move on, but I'll consider you gone if it's after 10 minutes. No harm, no foul. Let me know later if you have the opportunity. Let me know if you're okay. Because you as a person, you're here, you're part of my table, but you don't have a responsibility of like checking in, that kind of stuff. Whatever responsibility you take outside of this is up to you. You're a grown up. Cool. So those are all our bits. Let's go around the horn. We have a full gang, a very cool gang. Oh my gosh, you chose Chaplain, Brian. Oh, that's awesome. I'm very excited with that. So Anders, you get to go first. We're going to go from left to right on the character keeper. If you can introduce yourself, tell us a bit about your Swoop Biker, and then we'll move across.
Yeah, I'm Anders. I use he, him pronouns. I am playing Crusher, who is the treasurer, and as we discussed before, the token human among our characters. She is good at talking. She has a very fancy swoop bike, and she's kind of the face, I guess. I think she handles at least some of the talking with other outsiders, let's say, and convincing them that it's in their best interest to work with us in a fruitful and productive way.
That is cool. I love the pick you've chosen for Crusher. I love that you guys have somebody who actually tries to talk things through every once in a while. We'll see how that goes, Anders. Brian, you're up next. Introduce yourself. Tell us about your character.
Yeah, I am playing Twang, she, her. She is a Weequay. She's the chaplain of the club, and yeah, not in a like calming sort of what's the word I'm looking for? She's not like a wake up for just like a quiet chat about spiritual matters. It's more of a like a hype woman type chaplain, getting everyone pumped up for the cause.
Oh, nice. I like that. Weequay. And Weequay are usually from like deserts and Tatooine and terribly arid, hot places. How does Twang? Oh, bless you. Is Twang? What pronouns does Twang use?
She, her.
She, her. Okay, cool. Oh, you've got it in your freaking Zoom thing. Not that anybody watching the recording can see that. Okay. How did Twang grow up here? I guess the question I have. Terrace is the planet we're playing on. That's from Knights of the Old Republic planet that's still around. But did Twang grow up here?
I think she grew up here. She may not have been born here, but yeah, she grew up here.
Cool. Interesting. I like that. Chaplain she's the hype man, or hype person. The hyper. Cool. I like it. Good. All right. Thank you very much, Brian, for Twang. Paul, welcome to Star Wars Saturdays, sometimes played on Sundays. If you can introduce yourself.
Thank you for having me.
Good to have you.
I am Paul, he, him, and the character I'm playing has the handle Clutch, also he, him, and Clutch is a Duros, and his position within the gang is that of the road captain. So he spends a lot of his time away from the gang, leading a sort of smaller element, and just comes back every now and then after doing some robbery, that sort of thing. Clutch is probably more of a thinking type character, not a person of many words, but slow action and thought out action. That's sort of where he comes from.
Neat. I have a definite vibe for Clutch, and the pick for Clutch, that Duros, is very, very cool. Sweet. Thank you, Paul. Steven, you're up.
Hi, my name's Steven. My pronouns are he, him. Today I'm playing Dwang, who is a Doug, whose pronouns are also he, him. Dougs are the guys who walk on their hands and use their feet kind of prehensively to hold on to stuff. And I think Dwang is the kind of the muscles. He's, a punk just running around, beating things up, that kind of thing. Likes to get in fights. And I think his nickname came from his speeder is basically, a roll cage with like a little bit of aerodynamics and steering and like some engines on it. So he wrecks all the time, and that roll cage rolls around. So Dwang is a curse word in Star Wars, and I think that's what he shouts out whenever he, goes rolling with his cage. Dwang has I changed this a little bit. Dwang has a favorite Doug at the local orphanage. So I think there's a lot of like little kids or teenagers and that kind of stuff who are a little bit angry about that. So we have a local orphanage, and I've got a soft spot for this local Doug named Relbo, and I think that I haven't really been really public with the rest of the group about my relationship with this Doug at the orphanage, but I think that it's one of those things we kind of sponsor. I think they're down and out on their luck, and I'd like, I'm going to send some of my cash their way, some of my spoils their way. But I think I hang out a little bit with Twang just because whenever somebody calls for us, I'm not super bright, right? So whenever they call for us, I'm like, I don't know if they're calling for me or for them. So I just respond anyway and like pretend like they're my buddy, right? So is that okay,
great.
Brian? Are you okay with that, Brian? Yeah.
He's nodding. Oh, I actually thank you for that, because I had a question. Is Twang so named because of some music related thing? Or where did Twang come from? If you need some time to think about it, Brian, that's cool too.
Yeah, I could see her being a musician playing.
Oh, I like it. I like
now,
it.
Well, now I have the assignment of looking at the
Oh
various
no!
Star
I
Wars
cursed you.
instruments.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Brian. I didn't mean to rabbit hole you yet again. Okay, cool. So Twig, a little bit of a musician. I like that a lot. Will, you are up. If you could introduce yourself, tell us about your character.
Hi, I'm Will, pronouns he, him, as are those of my Tal's enforcer of the gang. Tals are the big shaggy creatures that you see one of them in the background in Mos Eisley, and they appear in the Clone Wars. And Gulda Wed, as is his given name, you know, although you only hear it on Life Day, I think. He was enslaved with a whole bunch of his tribe on Tals by the Empire, who took them so they could be like cold weather work gangs on places like Hoth and stuff like that. But whilst doing still as a youngling, they docked at Taris, and he escaped using, they underestimated these savages and their ability to work out the mechanics. And now Wild Thing has pretty much grown up on Taris as a runaway, and fallen in with the Swoop Gangs, and is kind of like the gang mechanic. But he's so big and hulking that he naturally falls into the enforcer role as well, even though he doesn't actually have that much of an appetite for putting the hurt on people.
Very cool. And that is a great role for your but I just want to work with the bikes and fix them. All right, I'll go enforce this. I've seen some chatter in text chat here of folks talking about potential Swoop Biker Club like name and logo. So you don't have no PC is president or vice president. We'll figure that out as we talk about the Swoop Bike Club. We do have road captain, and pretty much when you guys are on a ride, Clutch is going to be the one who's in charge. Did you realize that, Paul? Oh my goodness, you're in charge. You guys go on a ride.
On the road.
On the road only. Only on the road. That's right. So what are you guys feeling for the name of your Swoop Biker Club?
I quite like.
I think someone suggested the hounds. I like the hounds. Would you like, Will?
The Zid Hounds. I like that because the Pharazids are a local big dog species that you can meet in, I think, the Old Republic, and there's a nice picture of them on Wikipedia, of course.
Sweet. I am now giggling Pharazid hounds, and they are, holy crap, they're scary looking. Oh, it's a Corellian hound. Sorry, gives me a cartel flashbacks. Woo. Yeah, Zid hounds are not pretty. Pharazid. There we go. All right, those guys look a little lizardy. That's cool. Neat. So what do you think is the logo? Is it just like a Zid hound that you guys put on each of your Swoop bikes, or is there something that you've added to it?
I think it's a Zid hound biting down on a Mandalorian helmet. Because Taris was once invaded by the Mandalorians, right? Like back in the day. So this is part of a whole culture. And our teeth are so sharp we can bite through Beskar, bitch.
That is a bold thing. Do you guys have a motto? And that's a nebulous, and that's a lot. So if it's a thing that we want to table, that's cool. I don't want to stymie anybody if that's a thing that takes a long discussion. But do you have a motto?
to the underworld and back. Because the underworld is like basically a zombie wasteland, right?
Cool. All right.
It can be a work in progress if we change
Yeah.
it further on, you know.
It's a good start. Again, not
What if we mainly stay in the underworld? You said that there was like a down below kind of a slum area, right?
right. So to jump over to the terrace tab, there's upper city, middle city, which is the most populous and kind of your middle class, lower city, people that are not born in privileged classes, usually your non-humans, and then undercity, which is a hard ass slum. It's beneath the upper middle. It's an underground city, so it's very like 1313 on Coruscant, similar to the picture that Paul's got. Like, it's subterranean, and there's always the possibility of rat ghouls showing up there, but they've been taken care of. There's totally a vaccine, guys. You're fine.
Could we say basically our base is kind of in the undercity where nobody's going to kark with us, but then we can pop up and do jobs and steal from the people who have more than we do, and that feeds into the motto of to the underworld and back.
Yeah, I'm good with being in the undercity. Like,
Yep, sounds good.
Okay, I love it. That is bold. Now the next step on the Swoop Biker Club creation is you guys have rivals. This is another Swoop Bike gang. It is during our creation. It could be rivals as in your competitors and occasionally you clash. It could be hated rivals that you have fought against many, many times. But these rivals, you don't want them to prosper. They don't want you to prosper from a group level. And then, of course, there could be like other relationships between individuals. But if you, just like the Mayan MC in Sons of Anarchy, and they're the guys, they're the, we don't like them. I have, because I can't help myself, create a couple of Swoop Bike gangs, but I'm perfectly fine if we introduce a wholly new Swoop Bike gang. I think because our road captain travels around a whole lot, I'd like to hear from Clutch first on his thoughts about potential rival gangs.
I think due to their history, I think the Hidden Becks would be a good gang to go against. I think they'll maybe operate on a higher level. So yeah, we've done numerous trips up to the lower levels from the underworld and tangled with the Hidden Becks.
And the Hidden Becks by this time, just in my head canon, right? The Hidden Becks were pretty good guys back in Old Republic, Knights of the Old Republic. I'm kind of imagining them being an ongoing, like Robin Hood level. Like the Hidden Becks are beloved by the community of the lower city. They're considered like, oh, if you're in trouble, go to the Hidden Becks. But maybe that's not all true. But that's the legend behind the Hidden Becks. And they're your rivals because you guys come from the undercity up to the lower city. Do you just hate that they're kind of popular among the lower city people, or do you know that their good reputation isn't properly earned, or like the Hidden Becks now aren't like the Hidden Becks from before? Like, what do you think makes you their rivals? And this, let's open this one up so it doesn't have to be just one person. What about Twang? What do you think? Why is it that you guys hate the Hidden Becks?
I think we feel they just feel superior to us. They think that we're not as, I don't know, legit.
Oh my God. questions of legitimacy. I can't stand. I hate them already. I love it. Good stuff. The other thing about the Hidden Becks, then, and they're your rivals. Buli Brezic is the president of the Hidden Becks. Her uncle recently splintered off the Hidden Becks and formed a whole new gang. Pulled in some folks that weren't part of the Hidden Becks, but also brought over a couple members of the Hidden Becks. So there's some bad blood between the Black Vulcars and the Hidden Becks. Dwang, what is the general official relationship between the Black Vulcars, who have serious issues with Hidden Becks, between the Black Vulcars and the Zidhounds?
So the Black Vulcars, let me get this right. The Black Vulcars are the rivals of the Hidden Becks. Which way does the hatred go? The Hidden Becks hates the.
Okay. So Buli Brezic's own uncle took two of the very established members, and he went off and formed a whole new gang. And it wasn't amicable at all.
Okay. So I think that the Hidden Becks hate the Black Vulcars and consider them their rivals. However, the Black Vulcars consider us their rivals. And the reason is because basically they're kind of ignoring the Hidden Becks, right? They're like, oh, it's a one-sided rivalry. You're beneath our notice. So we get a lot of, the Black Vulcars are coming in on our territory, and, we, know that the real, we know that those Hidden Becks, the Becks, they just want too much, everybody thinks they're great, but they're not really as great as they say they are, and all that kind of stuff. And it's even worse because now they help spawn off these new guys who are just harassing us all the time.
That's great.
And maybe we even think that the new guys, the Black Vulcars, so Dwayne's not too smart. He's just wandering around going, I bet they even started it just so that the Vulcars can do their dirty work.
Ooh.
They're really still a part of the same gang. Their dirty work goes off under a different name. That's what I do.
I like that.
I'm sorry, I'm now drawing a relationship map between these three gangs so that I have it. And my handwriting's terrible, but I can read it. So that is wonderful. Crusher, what is the legitimate enterprise of your gang? How do you guys just make money doing crimes? You have to have a gathering place for the club, right? So what is officially, if you want to go see this completely legitimate Swoop Bike Club in Undercity, where is it you guys hang out?
Can
I suggest? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, sure. Go
ahead. Maybe a sort of compactor. It's right down at the bottom of the food chain, and it can produce some sort of, spare stuff.
Yeah, that's similar to what I was thinking. I was thinking some kind of a junkyard scavenging sort of operation, and that fits with that. I think that's cool.
Junkyard. Oh, that's cool. That is really interesting. And it's a perfect place for you guys to always have lots of access to mechanical parts. And I mean, Wild Thing, you probably love it, right? It's got all kinds of stuff. All right, junkyard.
Yeah, but having some kind of compactor, I think that's cool. The stuff the parts we can't salvage or use, we throw it in the compactor and we can sell it as scrap material, basically.
Like you're thinking there, Crusher, because we could recycle most things in the compactor, couldn't we?
Yeah, it's very, very useful.
Yeah, just like the hidden backs.
You're not supposed to say these things out loud, okay?
Well, they told me to throw something at Crusher, and I got it the wrong one.
That is good. Really good. Nice work. Cool. Brian, did you find an instrument, or are you still?
I did.
What'd you find?
So what's it called? The Xantha. Kind of picture a electric guitar saxophone hybrid. And it's from Goroth, which is very close to Tatooine. So, which is probably like the area that my family lived maybe generations back, because it's like on the other side of the galaxy from Tanis. From, no, not Tanis. Terrace. So yeah, I think it was an instrument that's been in the family for quite a while.
Nice. Oh, that's really cool. That is wild. And to create it, you need 40 units of wood and 15 units of metal, it turns out. The complexity is 18, because this was originally created for the Old Republic. Well, that is a cool looking instrument. I like it a lot. Fantastic. So, I think that an action-oriented game should start in the middle of some action. So we know you guys have generally lives in the Undercity. You head up to Lower City to do business and the like. And here we go. You've been contracted by Hajur, an ancient Hutt who owns the Upper City dueling ring, but also has a whole lot of side businesses. Hajur tipped you guys off that the Hidden Becks had a warehouse where they were storing, well, what they are claiming are basically some drugs they're getting off the street. But Hajur, he doesn't want them off the street. He doesn't tell you if they used to be his drugs or not, but he's fingered the location where the Hidden Becks are keeping these drugs. We'll say this is it's a particular flavor of spice. It's like this glitteril that's been mixed in with a few other additives. It's considered a light spice, meaning it's not highly addictive. So it's really popular up on Upper City. But they generally deal it down in Lower City, so that when Upper City folks, they either work through intermediaries or they actually come down a couple levels to buy it. So it has that certain chic to it, right? So we kick off with the 5 of you, and you're taking a look. Maybe your swoop bikes are parked up on like the roof of one of the buildings, and you're overlooking this particular warehouse. You see that they've got one of their heavies, Velo, a droid, who is keeping watch over the warehouse. He's not like standing right outside, right? But you can see him through a window. Maybe we'll say that, like, Clutch, you've got one of those cool like monocular deals, right? And he's like zooms in, it's got the little rangefinder thing, and you see that Velo has a couple of cables plugged into he uses him, Velo does. Couple of, I mean, if we want to call it ginger spice, it's called ginger spice right here and now. I am not opposed to calling it, it's ginger spice. is the drug. So we've got a warehouse full of some ginger spice. Very expensive. But yeah, Velo's got some cables hooked into him, which means there must be some kind of security system, or who knows, maybe he's watching some hollows. But he seems to be the security for now. Clutch. What do? You're the road captain. What's going on?
I'll relay this, so you see me sort of like pull away from the binos, turn to the rest of the gang and say, they've got the droid, looks to be security down there. Crusher, do you think this is one where you could talk your way in past the droid?
Nah, I don't think he's going to let me in. They don't like us.
Fair one. Okay.
I could
Can I scan
I could pop his
around?
head off, and you could try and slice it back together again.
I was thinking along the same lines, but maybe a little more subtle. I'll go back to the binos and scan around, see if there's a nearby data port that possibly I could hack into to then sort of hack into him, sort of on the same sort of local net.
Nice.
Possibly.
I like
maybe
that.
somebody might need to distract him maybe while I do that.
That sounds good. Yeah, you are able to, let's say, Clutch, that you see there's one of those things like, R2D2 would like go into like a data port type deal, and it's set up against the wall, one of the buildings, like on the outside, so they can come in and change, and this is where they get the readings for the power or whatever. So that's a great point for you to do that. And also, just to talk a little mechanics for a moment, if Clutch is going down to try to do that hacking and someone wants to create a distraction, that can engage our helping rules. In the way that help works in this game is that the person who decided to help another person with their role says, I give a kark about you. The helper spends 1 kark of their own. It's gone. And then that gives 1 extra die to the roller. Multiple folks can help 1 person by all spending karks. The difficulty of hacking through this not really meant for this particular job thing into Velo, who's a droid who is pretty technically competent, is going to be karking hard. So, Clutch, you want to go through with it? You're like,
Yeah. I think possibly with a little bit of distraction. I think I could do this.
Cool. Is this a thing where you climb down the building, or do you hop on your swoop bike and like zip down into an alleyway and hop out? What do you think?
I think from this sort of perch spot where we've parked our bikes, I'm prepared to leave the bikes here and sort of scramble down like a fire escape or whatever to this interface port.
Cool.
Yo, boss. Can I be like the plan B? So if everything goes south, you give me the signal, and I'll just go in and beat them all up, and I'll just take them out.
Sure. Yeah. Wild thing. You want to also be on the backup plan?
Yeah. That's what I'll do.
Okay. Is anybody going to distract him while I take my time doing this cool hack?
I can do a flyby, maybe draw some attention. He'll know we're
Nice.
here, but if you take him down, then shouldn't be a problem.
Nice, like it.
All right.
How about, rather than a flyby, like, stand out front, like revving, like.
Yeah, that's good. That's
like,
good.
So he has to go check out. It has to go check out what the noise is.
Yeah.
That is a great plan. So, Clutch, you wheel around, hop down to get closer, come over. Does Clutch have like slicing gear, or how do you imagine he does this like hack? What does it look like? What do we see on screen?
Yeah, I think we've got some sort of like nanofiber cables to a just sort of like a wrist-mounted control box. You see the various sort of hollows come up on the control box as I'm popping these sort of nano wires into this this interface unit.
Nice. Cool. So let's build your pool. You're doing a hack with someone covering for you. So I think you're being cool. Like you've got a plan. You're in control right now. Velo isn't aware of you. So you're being cool right now. That's your style. Thing, I think you're using tools, right? You just said you're literally using tools. So that's six dice right there that you start off with. 3 from Be Cool, 3 from tools. And you're slicing. So you're using that expertise. So that's your 7th die. Doesn't feel like you're using arson. You're not yet taking stuff while people are right. Do you feel like you're using theft here?
No, I think it's slicing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And was somebody prepared to spend Kark to assist?
Yeah, I'll do that. That's the distraction.
Okay. Cool. So that's one more Kark that you're getting. So you are actually fully spending that crush. There's no chance of getting it back other than there are a refresh. We'll talk through that later. So you're now up to 8 dice.
Okay. Let's see if this roll mechanic works. It does, but it's not very good.
That's
the problem.
That is 1 success. The good news is that you had at least 1 success. If you hadn't rolled that 6, then those 1s could have caused some real problems. I didn't say there's tension involved in the roll, but that's fine. I will make sure and give you guys the heads up ahead of time in future. But it's just a fail. So Crusher, you come out to the front. You're revving your cool swoop bike and gathering Velo's attention. We see Velo's eyes like flicker from this dull amber to like a red, showing that Velo's aware of this alert. And Clutch, you start slicing in. You got a few cables in here, and then there's like an electric spark, and that's when the warehouse. There are these 2 panels up like on the building that drop away, and a pair of not full-on turbo lasers, but basically E-web blasters. The nozzles come out, and that's when you hear cease and desist, or I will be forced to blow you all away.
It's a trap, gang.
Away.
It's a trap.
Yes, a trap. I love the declaration of trap. So yeah, they're aiming at Crusher because Crusher, you're the focal at this point.
Get out, Crusher. Get out.
I would like to drop down from above it and rip its head off.
Oh, okay. Let me make sure I understand which we're talking about.
The robot, the droid.
Robot's inside the building.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, he's inside the building. He's basically operating a couple of automated by him.
Remote blaster turrets,
remote
basically.
blasters that are covering the building. Yeah, you can still take a shot. Like you see it through a window because Clutch pointed that out to you.
Yeah, no. Then I pull out my my heavy hydro spanner, and I'm going to just rip apart the power relay between these 2 turrets on the inside. So just like
sweet. So is this a thing where you're like taking the swoop bike because you guys were across the street kind of thing, or did you move over to the top of the like how what does that look like?
I'm imagining that during the whole thing I've just been sort of sidling around the side, right? And then as the turrets go up, I'm just gonna rush forward and then
Awesome. Cool. That could go badly, but I
That
love
could go badly, yes.
I love it.
of
I
course.
love it. So tension is involved.
Yes,
Now-
and it's be badass, which is not my my strong suit.
It's true. It's not, sadly.
But it's probably I guess badass plus hands or badass plus tools, I suppose.
I think tools. I think
Any
unless
piece
you
of time you
unless
use
you
a piece
feel
of
like
equipment that's not your bike. I don't think I'm using the Hydra spanner.
yeah.
You know, like whatever there, right? So and it is also I think mechanics.
Cool. And just so we're clear, when tension is in effect, there's the possibility of, for lack of a better term, a Pyrrhic victory, because Shebs or ones will draw down your karks, but you could still roll enough successes to pull it off, right? So that's what makes things kind of dangerous. The good news is you can only lose as many karks as the difficulty of the roll that you're making, right? So if you needed 4 successes and you rolled 6 ones on your dice, you're still only going to lose 4. That's what that means. Cool. So yeah, you've got your stuff. You're being badass, sadly. You're using tools. You're definitely using mechanics. And I think what you're trying to do right now is going to be a hard. You need 3 successes. Tension is definitely involved, though.
Anyone want to throw a kark my way?
Yeah, I can be riding along, and I'm not getting into the mechanics with you, but you know, there's probably some panels that have to get pried open to give you access. So I'm there just helping you rip it open.
Okay, so that'll be 66 then.
And you can roll. You can spend your own karks as well.
Oh, can you?
As many as you want of your own karks.
It says you can spend a kark to give another PC an extra d6.
Yes, and I will add, you can spend your own karks to fuel a roll.
Then, given that I've got 8, I'll do that as well. Since I'm taking one of somebody else as well. Okay. 3 successes. 4 successes. I think.
Let's see. Yes, 4. No ones. What? That's great. Fantastic roll. Yeah, you 2 Wild Thing and Twang drop down. And are you thinking that the power coupling or the cable that you're pulling is like up on top of the building, the warehouse, or are you down on the street level? Where do you think this action took place?
Well, I think that it does come, like you say, I think there's like an overhang, right? And it runs underneath that kind of like awning and then goes down like the side of it, right? And I think maybe the Twang, I'm on the back of Twang's swoop bike, right? And it comes off along the top and I leap across to the awning, land heavily on it. And then as the guns start to track up, I just like grab my hydro spanner and just pull the like half the wall off, like sparks go everywhere. And of course the turrets like spin around and shoot each other right when they lose power.
Of course, we have to have that. That is fantastic. That is great. So we know where Twang and Wild Thing are. Crusher, you were getting face down like these things are about to fire on you. Clutch, you've just finished, so you're down on street level. You're not far from Crusher. Dwang, it was supposed to be you and Wild Thing that were like the backup, and you're still back. You're still back there. What are you doing?
Yeah, sweet. So I think what I'm going to do is I see violence has started. This is my jam. So I'm basically going to kick on my speeder bike, right? And it makes this low rumble and smokes a little bit. And then I'm going to punch it where that window is that we can see Velo through. And I'm just going to bash through that wall.
Oh, nice.
Punch a hole. I want to punch a hole in it so we can get to Velo.
Sweet. Is your intent to like do a ride through on Velo?
By ride through, you mean through the wall and hit him?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's amazing. I think getting through a wall that was not meant to allow a swoop bike through it and hitting and hurting Velo, we're going to call that hard, and tension's definitely involved. Like you're crashing through a wall. This is a crazy idea. It's a good thing you have a mechanic.
Yeah, that's the plan. He fixes our stuff. So to build the pool,
Yep,
I think that's badass.
absolutely it is. This sounds
Um,
badass.
And tools.
I think you're using your hog.
Okay. Anything else?
Assault?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's either assault or vandalism because you're damaging or breaking someone else's twang.
Yeah, that sounds good. So I think that's 7.
Okay.
And let's see how that looks. I got 1-1 and 2 successes. No, 3 successes. So that makes it only a 2.
No, the success, the ones don't draw away from your successes. Those still count up as successes.
Oh, okay.
I said that was hard. So you're successful in plowing through this wall, slamming into Velo as he was trying to disconnect the cables because they were sparking, right? Someone drew the thing and the two E-Web blasters shot each other. So he was pulling those cables for you, like come through. And I think there's like a brief moment of, oh, Kark. Bam! You slam into him. There's duracrete that like falls down and hits you, Dwayne. You take a kark of damage because tension was involved and you did roll 1-1, but it's not going to stop you. And you keep going. You like ram, boom, boom, over top of Velo. He falls to the ground at this point and he's trying to scramble and get back up, but you can see there's a little bit of spark. One of his eyes is winking out like the light is dying from it. You keep going, you slam through another wall that was just, like plaster and stuff. Boom, you end up in the back of the warehouse before you were able to kind of get control of your bike again. And you see there are crates and crates and crates of stuff here in this warehouse. There's tons of ginger spice in this place. Let's cut to Clutch.
Oh, you can't tell. You hear Dwayne screaming and yelling, and you can't tell if he's laughing or hurt or something like that. Yeah.
Nice. I love it. Okay, Clutch, you just saw Dwayne rocket through, literally, the building. Crusher is right near you. You saw Wild Thing take out the 2 guns. Twang is with Wild Thing. Clutch, what are you doing?
I think you see Clutch running for this entrance saying, a perfect entrance there, Dwang. Perfect. We couldn't ask for a better way to get inside the building. Everybody in, quick. Let's grab the ginger spice and get out of here.
That's awesome. Cool. So, Clutch, are you going through the window? You're going to bust open a door? How are you getting inside?
How big is this opening?
I mean, I'm imagining it like a meter across. I'm trying my best. I think it'd be like a meter across. It's a little bigger. It's like Swoop Bike size.
I keep telling you, we can do feet as well.
Okay.
we're bi-numeric. We can do all of them.
You guys are way smarter than me because I am like barely mono-numeric. Cool. So I think it's like 5 feet across, which is more than a meter, I know. But I was just going to stick with meter. But now you get 5 feet because you're being nice and letting me use feet. So it's like 5 feet across because Dwayne came running through it. And a bunch of extra bricks came out of it. So you could easily dive through that window if that's what you want to do.
I think that the hole, I'm more confident in the hole.
Okay. Yeah, the door could have traps. And any
Exactly.
traps that were on the window, Dwang sprung.
Yeah, this place is trapped out.
So Velo is trying to stand up when you come in, Clutch. And we'll say Crusher if you wanted to like trail in behind Clutch as you guys are taking this because Clutch just ordered you
Yeah.
guys, hey, let's do this thing. So the two of you come in and you see the Velo at this point is like on all fours and about to stand up. You have seen Velo in fights before. Velo doesn't carry blasters. Velo has like little blasters that pop out of the bottom of his little wristy areas. So he's armed. What do you do, Clutch, as you see Velo starting to get up?
I think you'll hear sort of Clutch sort of laugh to himself saying, "Ha ha, Velo. Now I'm within range. I shall reprogram you." And I'll quickly start jabbing these fiber cables sort of directly into his. You said his eye had sort of popped out or was damaged.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I'm sort of jabbing these cables into his optical socket, hopefully trying to reprogram.
Are you like riding him almost? You know what I mean? Like he sort of stumbled on the ground, and as he stands up, you just jump on his back and jam it in there, right?
Jam it in his eye.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm gonna say that this is hard. Like if he hadn't already lost his eye and you had to find a different port, it would be harder. But Dwayne did a little bit of work for you here. So it's gonna be hard for you, but tension is involved in this role. So let's go ahead and have you build your role. I think at this point, though, this is pretty crazy and over the top. I think you're being badass, right? This is not a calm, cool, collected, thoughtful thing. So you're being badass. What thing do you think you're bringing into motion?
I am using my wrist-mounted computer and the optical and the hacking cables sort of thing.
Sounds good.
So I think we're at 4 there. And I'm definitely slicing in.
Absolutely 5 there.
And I'm going to spend a kark myself.
Okay.
So that gives me 6.
Yep, you have 6. Does Crusher want to try to help out?
Yeah, I think Crusher is going to pull out a blaster and sort of don't move, stay still. Just threaten below a bit.
Yeah, that totally. So that tracks. Spin that kark. That'll give you a 7th die, Clutch. And
okay.
Let's hit the dice. Let's see what they do. All right, that is 5 successes and 1-1. So I think just before you take control of the system and maybe that red eye turns blue, right? Because we have to have a color differentiation. Star Wars, right? Just like when C-3PO's eyes turned red and we all thought, oh my God, he's gone to the Sith. But it was just a trailer, and it was a trailers are lies in Star Wars lately. Disney Star Wars trailers are always lies. It's fine. But yeah, it flips from that red alert to blue, like a cool cobalt blue. And I think that you tell me if this tracks for Clutch, but I think just a moment before you take over, Velo says, no, please don't take my, and then just trails out and you've taken control. Like he stops.
Yeah, that sounds perfect.
Sweet. So you lose a kark as a result of realizing, hey, you've just taken over a droid that considered itself sentient. And he's all yours.
I'll start sort of working on reprogramming him. So let's see what somebody else is probably going to do.
Yeah.
Wild Thing, comes in through the hole afterwards, looks around and stomps over to well, you know what, like we should probably start unloading the things, but at some point I'm going to interrupt Clutch and be like, raise this whole kind of issue of reprogramming a member of the Hidden Becks.
Yeah, we can drop out of like moment to moment and assume that like Dwang isn't like Dwayne. Do we ever find out if you were laughing or if you're in pain?
Yeah, I think Dwayne comes running out from the back room, with a gun in one hand and a spanner in the other, and it's like, ha ha! And he like runs up to like Velo, and then it's like no one's fighting back, and like okay, and the dust kind of clears, and I think his speeder bike, his swoop bike, is kind of smoking, so there's smoke in the air here, and he's like, oh.
You run out shooting, and then one of the blaster bolts pings off Philo. Clutch is like, stop it, you fool.
Right.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, you know, Clutch comes in and starts like, you know, looks at the door, pulls something off his tool belt, starts to like crank it open so that we can start unloading stuff onto our bikes, right, and bring them in rather than all have to clamber through this busted hole. And then he'll look over at Clutch and come over and just like put one big menacing hand, like kind of on Clutch's, like, you know, data pad as he's like slicing into it, and just be like, no, he's a back.
And I think I'll sort of spin around and look up at Wild Thing and go, no, you misjudge me. I'm just going to put him to sleep and install a recorder. So all that the Wild Things say will be transmitted to us. Does that not sound good, Wild Thing?
No slave, Collis.
He is no slave. He is
Just
an
nuts.
informant who does not know. That is wise.
Just nods, shambles off. Like,
Nice. And I'm imagining that a lot of these crates, you guys can drop them onto little grav pads, trail them behind your swoop bikes. The actual ginger spice isn't the majority of what's in this warehouse. There's enough for like the 5 of you guys to pretty easily carry, and a few stacks to get the heck out of here. However, some explosions happened, and you're not in Undercity where that don't matter, right? People might complain. You're in Lower City where the Hidden Becks are around. So as you're loading things up and you're nearly done, you hear the telltale sound of some speeder bikes coming closer. You don't know if maybe before he was overtaken, Velo was able to get word out to the Hidden Becks, or if maybe there were some of the gang who were nearby, but someone's coming your way. Clutch, what do you do when, we'll say, when you get that notification that, hey, you guys have got stuff loaded up, but it sounds like some folks are on their way?
I'll shout out to the rest of the crew and say, can you bide me some time? I need to install this this data transmitter on the droid.
And Dwayne's like, kind of hops on his smoking lopsided speeder bike and kind of peels off.
Excellent.
There's
Dwang.
some smoke
Excellent.
coming out of there's some smoke coming out of places of Dwayne's ride that, well, thing you know, you're gonna have to like bin some stuff back into shape later.
As soon as the transmitter's installed, we can get out of here. Let's just hold them off until then.
Nice.
Wild Thing's gonna lope off after Dwang, like, and, you know, like take up I'm imagining that we're basically like the Republic Guards, right? Like, it's just to hold them off until we can load up and then race out of here, you know?
Sweet. I love it. Good. So couple ways we could approach this. One, we could say there are a certain number of successes that Clutch needs to achieve in order to do the transfer over, or we could say that there's a certain number of rounds that have to take place. I kind of like the total number of successes myself. Is that cool with everybody? And it's a thing where you can make a couple different roles in succession, Paul, but every time you make a new roll, there's a new combat round that'll happen for everybody trying to cover your shebs. Okay, cool. So doing this hack on the fly to a relatively advanced droid that has modified itself, so it's not standard. I'm going to say that it's going to take a total. Yeah, let's do a quick bio before that, and then we'll set all this up. All right, the situation is that some speeder bikes are on their way. Clutch is trying to reprogram Velo so that Velo is able to wake up and has no knowledge that it has been messed with, but will become a secret plant, a unknown spy for the Zid Hounds. A pretty wonderful idea. The thing is, it's not easy, and you've got to do it quickly. So I'm going to say this is going to be an extended role. So it's controlled for clutch, meaning that there isn't tension. Like the ones aren't going to draw down all of your karks, but you've got to accumulate a certain number of successes. Once you have accumulated all of those successes, the job is done. However, for every round of rolls that you have, there's more pressure that is coming onto the warehouse, and your buddies are going to have to fight to keep you safe, which means the total number of successes you need is 7. So you need 7 total successes. Good news, again, ones aren't going to draw you out of karks because you've got more than enough folks helping you out. If that situation of them protecting you changes, then it may become tension for you. The only tension you have is got to do it quick. That's not going to draw away your karks in this particular situation. So, Wild Thing was like lining up like the rebels waiting for Darth Vader to come on the Tantive. What is Twang doing as Clutch bends down and starts hacking and slicing away?
I think we need some demolitions to create some barriers in between. These the incoming path of these spikes and us.
Sweet. Are you thinking you've got like some grenades, thermal detonators? Like, what are you doing? Blowing up a building across the street? Like, what is the scale of what Twang is doing here?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's that huge, or
okay,
or we would have maybe blown our way into this warehouse in the first place. This is more just to bring debris into the road to block their path.
Sweet. Maybe a speeder gets blown up, like flips over on its side, that kind of stuff getting in their way. That sounds good. Crusher, what are you doing in preparation as you hear the speeder bikes coming closer?
I think I'm going to play like close defense. So I'm sticking fairly close to Clutch, looking out the hole in the wall, probably.
Nice.
Keeping having my blaster ready, but just making sure no one gets too close.
Nice. Cool. So the two Wild Thing Crusher side by side. Dwang, where's Dwang in this?
So Dwang, as soon as Clutch kind of said we need, the cavalry to kind of hold things off, Dwang was like, "Oh, I'm on my bike. I'm heading out. I'm going to kind of be a frontal assault." I don't think this is necessarily going to be him trying to hit back and hold everyone off. I think it will be more along the lines of, let's see if I can get him to chase me.
Oh, interesting. Neat. That sounds cool. So Dwayne, you like hop out, and I guess you keep it a couple of the crates to kind of obviously show you've got some of the ginger spice. And you're just trying to lit out. Is that?
I think, no, yeah, Dwayne. I think he spent some time loading it up. He's not smart. He's not going to make any plans. He's just going to hop on his bike and take off. Right? Yeah.
Nice. Cool. That's a wonderful trouble. That's a great bad decision. I highly applaud it. Dwayne shoots out and hits the street, and at the same time, Dwang, Wild Thing, Crusher, and Twang, as you're blowing up a couple of the things, you see a few members of the Hidden Becks are on their way, hard and heavy. Kiana 88, who is a late generation clone, like she is one of a batch of Kianas who just happened to end up here in Terrace, as well as the father and son duo of Gar and Kuna Scribs. The three of them are on their way here. They've got matching speeder bikes. They're chrome. They look sleek. They've got the best weapons. They even have like a little like frontal shield that they can I don't know, like a forward shield they can kind of pop up so they don't get bugs in their teeth. It's so good. Really, really nice. They're like hidden bag logos on the side. There's a few corporations that have their logos emblazoned on the side of the hidden bags. Like street style corporations that are known for their individuality and that kind of stuff. That's the logos that the hidden backs carry as they're zipping along the streets, and they see like Kiana calls out where Twang, you've blown up one of the speeders, and they're coordinating pretty well. Wild Thing and Crusher, I think the two of you are the first that can make an attack, and then we'll see if Dwayne, you're able to lure at least some of them away. So if the two of you want to make separate attacks, you can. If you want to have one person lead with the attack and the other person help, that's cool too. Your difficulty is you're going to be swapping some harm, most likely, and tension is involved because of that. And we're going to call it karking hard to defeat these 3 Swoop Bikers.
I think that's being badass and tools, right? Seems the shooting back at the holding them off. And I think it's Twang, like who should lead this role. And I'll throw 2 karks that way to assist. And I'm like big hulking towels kind of like scooched down behind a crate that's fairly big enough.
Like shoulders are coming up. And I think Kiana says, I believe that Wild Thing is hiding over there. Sweet. All right, Twang. Be badass is 3 dice. Tools, your gun is a 4th die. This is it's about shooting is beating people up. So I'm okay if you want to bring in the expertise of assault. So that would get you to 5 dice. You've got 2 dice coming from Wild Thing. I'm gonna let this ride, but hold it in abeyance. Generally, like in the rules, it says you can spend a kark to help somebody. So we're gonna what do we table? Let's just stick with the rules. So 1 kark coming your way, but we can talk about it at end of session to see if we want to play with that.
Fine with the rules,
Cool.
Just 1 kark can be spent.
All right, 1 kark. So then we're at 3, 4, 5, 6 total dice. This is karking hard. You need 4 successes. Do you want to spend any of your own karks, Twang? I know you don't have a whole lot left. Tension is involved, so you may lose some karks in this roll.
I'll spend 1.
All right, 7 dice. Need 4 successes. Good luck. Those ones are going to hurt. No ones. Oh, so hard. Sweet. That is 3 successes though. You needed 4. So I think that it's a harried fight, right? Blaster bolts. What color, Twang? What color are the blaster bolts coming from the Zid Hounds from your blasters?
I
don't think there's any like canon story significance to your color. Just pick a color. I'm good with it.
Red.
Oh, dark. Sweet. So red blasters. And of course, these are the good guys. They hit back. So they got blue blasters. So we have all these blasters come. Stuff's like lighting up behind you. Clutch as you're jacked in, like slicing into Velo. And yeah, it's pretty harried and hectic. Cool. So yeah, you guys fire back to think where it ping a couple of the blaster bolts ping off of their front shields. You haven't taken any of those 3 folks down, but they also haven't, like, they've blasted up whatever like a file cabinet or some stuff that you'd thrown in front that you were hiding behind. Wild Thing, it's taken a bunch of shots. You could see you could like see through a hole in there, but luckily it saved you for now. But that gives a whole round for Clutch to try to do things. We're going to do Clutch's roll, and then we're going to see if Dwayne can draw everybody away. Crusher, I'm sorry, what was Crusher doing again? I just gotta check in there.
Sticking close to Clutch and just covering, making sure no one gets too close.
Going, come on, Clutch, come on, looking nervously over their shoulder, right?
It's getting hot out there.
All right, so let's build your roll, Clutch. Remember, this is 7 total successes you need. Yeah. What style do you think you're working in?
Well, you know, the gang's got my back, so I'm pretty cool at this stage.
Sounds good. I'll buy it.
Yeah.
Feels like tools you're using in your slicing.
Yep, and I'm slicing.
So
I
that's
will
7 right there.
7. Yeah, I'll first round. I'll roll with the 7.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So
Crusher,
here
are
we
you
go.
giving any, or you
7d6.
just hanging tight for right now? Crusher, did you want to give a kark, or just watching his back for now?
Watching my back. That's fine.
Okay.
So yes, 76.
76. Let's see how it goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, we got lots of successes there.
That is awesome.
And
So
no
you need a
ones.
total of 7. You've gotten 5. That is fantastic. No doubt about it. You've already bypassed a couple of the little locks, and you saw that there was a little honey pot bit of ice in the programming that you just ignore. It's too easy. That's like low level stuff. That's little kid hacking. You slice past that, no problem whatsoever. And you can see.
Hold
you're
them for
starting
a
to-
while longer, boys.
Love
His
it.
Shatner's bassoon is armored, but I'll get there soon.
Sweet. So, Clutch, you find out a little bit about, like, you're reading through all this stuff, processing it. You find out a little bit about Velo. So, what do you find out? How did Velo become a free droid? Did somebody remove his restraining bolt? Was there some weird happenstance and he lucked into it, or was it his sheer force of will that he somehow was able to free himself from being a subservient droid to join the Hidden Becks? Or is he not actually free at all, and it's all some kind of play acting, and there actually is a hidden restraining bolt somewhere on him? What do you think?
I think the Hidden Becks removed his restraining bolt. That the Black Sun, they were the original owners of Velo. Yeah, they were. He was theirs, using a restraining bolt, and the Hidden Becks removed that. And I think he's grateful to the Becks for that, and that's why he sticks with them.
Oh man, just makes it even harder when you're going to make him betray them. This is great. Good work, Clutch. All right, Dwayne, let's see if you can draw off of some of these folks. Here's how I'll set this up. If you completely pull this off, you potentially could pull all 3 of them away. They're like, oh, that's just BS. It's really Dwayne who's got the ginger spice. We got to go after him. But that, right? So if you want to draw off 1 or 2 of them, we'll say that's hard. But if you want to try to shoot for 5 successes, karking ridiculous, you're going to draw all 3 of them. They're just going to zip past and think that Wild Thing and Twang are trying to draw them in so that you can get away. Tension is involved because they're going to be shooting at you.
So, Dwayne isn't paying that much attention to how many people he's going to pull off. He just wants to piss them off, right?
Sure.
So let's go with just trying to pull a couple of them off, because he's not trying to give them all individual attention.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what he is doing is he's kind of popped off and is coming down the street area towards where they are, and on that smoking, sputtering kind of swoop bike, and he actually kind of hits the lead one. Let's say that's Kayana 88.
Okay.
He kind of like sideswipes them, like it's the equivalent of like walking past someone and shoulder checking them, and says, "Yeah, you guys should have sent the Vulcans after us," and then peels off kind of around the corner, probably shooting back a little bit just to kind of say, "Yeah, we're gonna get you," making, and I think as he pulls off, I think the ginger spice throws him a little off balance, and he probably hits a wall and then kind of brightens back up and everything.
Love it.
I'd like to throw a kark that way. And I think that's as Dwang, bursts out, I'm going to yell out like, "Yeah, get the spice to safety, Dwang. We'll hold these fools."
Love it. That's fantastic. Cool. You're definitely being badass. There's nothing cool about what you're doing. I mean, do you ever do anything cool, Dwayne? I don't think so. Riding the hog. And do you think any expertise is at play here?
I don't know. Let's see. It's definitely not extortion. Vandalism. I'm not really breaking anything, so I think I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I agree with you. Cool. So you're starting with a base of 6 dice. You need at least 3 successes. You've got one from Wild Things Help.
Yeah.
Do you want to spend any of your own karks?
I'm not. I'm gonna sit where I am at 7.
Probably good to hold those in.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Let's
So
roll that.
3 successes.
2 1s.
Ooh, 2 1s, but 3 successes, which means you successfully draw off. And oh my God, I'm gonna roll a die, friends. 1d2. Let's see. Yeah, 1d2. All right, you successfully draw off. We'll say the son comes after you. Gar Scribs, the young one. He's still a prospect, so he's trying his best to make his name. He's going to catch you. So he zips off after you, and Kuna is the one who fires a couple of very accurate shots, and I think he hits one of the crates. So they know there's definitely ginger spice on there. It's like trailing out. You're leaving like this little cinnamon trail now. But you lose a couple of karks. You think you actually got hit, or do you think it was just the stress of like where you slammed into shoulder checked a wall, that kind of thing?
Oh, I think I actually got hit, and it kind of enraged me, and I'm kind of like, now I'm screaming. It's not that, battle barbarian run in. It's like, ah!
Love it. Love it. That's fantastic. Sweet. So let's slide back in to Wild Thing and Twang as the two of you are trying to fight. It's a 2-on-2 fight. You have the Elder of the Scribs and Kiana 88. Who are you focusing on there, Wild Thing, as you head into this round?
I think I am focusing on who was it? Kiana 88 and
Kiana 88 and Kuna Scribs. The old man.
The old man. I think I'm focusing on Kiana 88 because she's a clone, and I remember some people who looked very much like her in the Empire cracking the whip.
Oh, I'm sure. They were just doing what they're told. Plus, they're also evil. So there you go.
Well, yes, but I certainly Wild Thing hasn't had the benefit of a formal education in the history of the Empire and its forces. So I guess that is be badass 1, tools again 4, and if I'm allowed to have assault as well, that's 5.
Okay. Cool. So let me set your difficulties. Tension, of course, is involved. We're going to say that taking down Kiana is a different difficulty than taking down the old man. So this is karking hard. You need 4 total successes. Good luck, my friend.
I kind of imagine that the old man would be tougher than the young woman.
I know, it's weird. You think that
the grizzled survivor versus the
Turns out he's just not quite as fast.
Fair enough. And I think actually, like, rather than firing my blaster, right? Because I quite like the idea that in a lot of these scraps you don't really kill many people most of the time. You just is that like I pick up like the piece of cover that we're hiding behind, right? Like just a big piece of like scrap, like I don't know, transparent steel, right? So you can see through it. It's like a big riot shield, and I'm just gonna like run and then hurl it at her, basically, like as it absorbs the blaster bolts.
Awesome.
So that'll be, I'll spend a kark. That'll be 6 dice. Ooh, 1, 1, 1. And only 2 successes, I believe.
Ooh.
It's a 4 is a success, right?
A 4, 5, and 6 are success, correct?
Yeah, so only 2 successes.
Only 2 successes. That is not great. Okay. So with 2 successes and 1 kark, Yeah, I think what happens is that you throw you throw this and it hits her bike, but she scampers off of it, like dives, very agile move. She realizes there was no way she could turn the bike, as one of those where she bailed on it and dodges out of the way. She's not harmed, but you've just destroyed her ride and earned her eternal enmity and hatred and badness, right? Because you did all those things. Yeah.
I mean, I damaged her bike, right? Like, what more?
You could fix it. She's probably going to buy a new one, though.
No, yeah. Well, I mean, that's what a Beck can do, right?
It's exactly what a Beck can do. It's totally what Becks do. It's what they do. Sweet. So let's check over with Twang. Are you going after the old man, or are you going to take a cheap shot at the now unhorsed Kiana, 88?
I'll go for the old man because we also have to like get away, and if her speeder's taken out, then that's kind of
all right. I'm into it. So he is a normal difficulty. Taking him out doesn't necessarily mean kill. Means taking him out of the fight.
Mm-hmm. So I'm being badass. That's 3. Tools is 4.
Mm-hmm.
Assault is 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tension is involved. Normal difficulty.
3.
Yep. 3 successes. That is all you needed. What does it look like when you take out Kuna Scribs?
Yeah, I think yeah, I think I was kind of focused on making sure they can't chase after us. So I think I was kind of aiming for his bike.
Nice.
And I think yeah, I think I hit something that
Do you think maybe you hit the power cell and so there's an explosion and throws them, or what do you think?
I think it's more I'm picturing rupture some fuel cell and he gets kind of splashed with something and he has to back off and get out of there because he's gonna go up in flames if he takes another hit after this splashes over him. So he's just, he's got to get away and wash that off. So he's just removed from the fight for now because there's no way he can just.
It's awesome. Yeah, it's like he's slapping at his pants. His chaps are burning. His biscuits are burning in Looney Tunes, Yosemite Sam style. That sounds fantastic. Let's hop over to Clutch and see if you can finish out those last 2 karks.
Okay, so I think it's similar roll last time, so I won't waste any time. 76. Oh, now I only needed 2 successes, but I only got 1. So I'm going to need another round, lads.
Wow. Yeah, I think it's a thing where you saw Velo, what you thought was the core processing unit. But when you slice in there, one of your wires just kind of fails and we got a crink in it or something. And you're going to need some more juice. So you end up having to grab a power pack. If only you had a gonk droid, right? But yeah, you need a little bit of extra power. Do you draw it from your own bike, or you didn't come in with a bike, you walked in, so maybe you hook into Crusher, or
I think that data port right by the data port that he was plugged into.
Yeah.
So you see me sort of leaning over and trying to sort of run some cable from that, and I'm screaming to the rest of the crew, you got to give me more time.
Man, You guys got
I
to
don't know,
buy
man.
some.
We gotta scoot out of here quick. They're coming in hard. Just hurry up.
I'll be there. I'll be there soon.
Sweet. Okay. So the reprogramming, once you kind of slice back in, you're done with the reprogramming. All that you've got left, that one last success, is covering your tracks. So you could bail right now, but at some point, Velo's going to figure things out. Going to go another
No,
round?
I think we need that hidden sort of insider. So you know, yeah, I think we're going to need to stay one more round.
All right, you're the road captain. They're technically supposed to do what you say. We kick out ahead. Dwayne, you've left the gang behind. You're zipping down the streets of Lower Terrace, Lower City. So there's traffic up ahead. Like, you're going to have to start picking your way through traffic if you continue on this particular trajectory. Do you do that, or do you change course, or what?
Yeah, so I think we're exchanging fire, me and Gar,
Oh, yeah.
and we're zipping around and everything. And I think Dwayne is kind of working his way back. I think he kind of flips a little latch that kind of, it doesn't put the bike on autopilot, but what it does is it kind of locks the steering. And he grabs a hold of one of the roll bars and gets, and leans back where the cargo is.
Mm-hmm.
And kicks that crate of spice that's been damaged. He kicks it off, trying to get it in the face of Gar, and then crawls back into his speeder bike to kind of negotiate the traffic and probably duck out. He's trying to get away from the traffic. He doesn't want to get in the middle of that because I'm not the best driver. It could hit me.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
That sounds good. All right. So let's say what you're doing right now is hard, right? And a failure means you're going to have to make a pretty tough choice. But if you can pull it off, then I think you're going to get away from the young one.
Yep. So I think that's being badass.
Yeah.
Um,
Tension is involved, just so we're clear.
right. And just to be clear, I have one kark left, so this could take me out.
This could.
Yeah. What do you think this is? You think this is hands?
Yeah, I think you're trying to throw some stuff around. That feels right to me. I like that.
Yeah. Oh, and I think this is vandalism too.
Oh, for sure. You're 100% bringing vandalism in.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll roll that. Let's see what that looks like. Bam. 4 successes, but 1-1.
Oof, just that last bit. Oh man. So tell me what it looks like as you take out the younger of the scribs, Gar scribs. How do you take him out, or how do you stop the pursuit? What does that look like?
Yeah, so I think that actually Glitter Spice, he ducks underneath it, but he didn't expect, because of the damage to the crate, it's basically, packages are coming out. And one big package hits that fancy windscreen that he has and just smears it all up. So he hears the traffic up in front, but he knows he can't get around it without a good view. So he actually has to stop. I think he stops, and we see him kind of wiping down the windscreen, just like on the side, trying to clear everything up so he can get back into it.
Oh yeah, that's totally. He's definitely not going to run over passenger or bystanders and the like. That would totally kill their cred. So yeah, then I think, and if this is cool, we'll come up with a different thing. But I think maybe being around all this spice is what takes the fight out of you. You're able to get away, get to some place, maybe like you pull off to the side or something, but you're high as a kite.
I'm fine with that. How about actually to take me out? There is, I'm, kind of chuckling, and as I see Gar kind of have to pull off, and that's whenever I hit the traffic, and basically we see me kind of go tumbling, and I end up in the equivalent of a garbage truck, like in the back of this garbage truck.
Oh yeah, there's like a
Unconscious.
garbage bot that's driving it away. I love it.
Yeah, super high, but I'm unconscious, and I'm going off in this truck, but that's about it.
That sounds awesome. I like that a lot. Great. You and the bike, right? Like you didn't fall out of the bike. You went.
No,
in?
it's me and the bike.
Okay.
I think we tumbled into the back of this big truck looking thing. I
Cool.
think it kind of sputters a little bit and then smokes up. Yeah.
All
like
right.
buried in the soft garbage, right? Like back of it sticking out, and you just
That's right,
slumped
yeah.
over. Like,
Yeah.
That is awesome. I love that. That look. Really, really cool. Sweet. So, Crusher, you see that Clutch is taking a really long time. As you're probably keeping an eye out, Kiana is the only one of the hidden Becks that's outside right now. And she's hunkered down, trying her best not to get her face shot off. What are you doing as your road captain tells you he needs just a little bit more time?
I think I'm getting up on my swoop bike and getting ready to take off. Probably firing a couple of shots in Kiana's direction, not trying to hit her, just trying to make her keep her head down. But I'm preparing to kick off as soon as Clutch says we're ready, or maybe before then if things look like they're getting too hot.
All right, cool. So let's check in on Twang. You successfully took out the old man. You and Wild Thing are side by side. You've got to buy a little bit more time. Kiana's taken a more defensive posture at this point. Right now, she's just trying to keep you guys kind of like locked down. Maybe maybe she's called for more reinforcements. What do you do?
I think I'm gonna try to talk her into backing off for now.
Ooh, you are the talker. Not really, but you know, it's close. So you're going to be cool. And what do you say?
I say, what's her name? Kiana. Kiana, looks like you're outnumbered. Maybe we should do this another day.
Ooh, you do have a point. I'm going to say this is being cool, which isn't your specialty. But the good news is that tension isn't involved. Like she's not going to fire back at you when you're offering some kind of parlay. She's got a little bit of honor to her. But talking her to bail on this would be really hard normally, but she does see the logic that maybe she should just let this go.
My thinking is if she's hoping for reinforcements, maybe I can she doesn't know that we're how close we are to just getting out of here.
Mm-hmm.
So if I can just get her to think she can stall and then we take off before they get here.
That sounds good. I'm going to call that a normal difficulty because it is kind of logical for her to want to stall to keep you hunkered down. So yeah, let's see how this goes.
And I'll throw in a cock as well.
Yeah.
I think I yell out like, "We broke your bike. Don't need to break you too, little back."
Nice.
I'm not going to. I'm feel a bit short on carks, but I'm going to shout over my shoulder, but more so she can hear it. That how are you coming along on slicing those cannons, Clutch?
Oh, that is a scary thing. Cool. So sounds like you're trying to jaw, right? You're trying to talk her into it. You're not terrible at that.
No.
All right, normal difficulty, and it is not tension involved. So good luck.
Okay. So I've got 4, I think.
1 for be cool, 2 for
2 for
jaw, 3. I don't think any of your 3 expertises. You got 1 kicked over from Wild Things. So yeah.
4.
I'll throw in the Kark as well then. I
Oh,
didn't
cool.
realize it was this close.
All right. Two successes.
2 successes is what you need. How many did you roll?
That's what I got.
Oh, she says, yeah, maybe another time. You guys got a lot of nerve coming in here after what you pulled. And she's going to make like she's going to leave, but you have a feeling she's not going far. But it's going to give you enough for Clutch to make 1 more roll.
Okay. Last roll. Let's see if I can get 1 success. I can get 3 successes.
Yay!
Now the pressure's off, right?
If only we talked to them from the beginning, right? No. Sweet. So you feel it slide in. You've got the last bit of programming. You sweep up very good, very well, covering your tracks. No one will know. No one will be the wiser. You can flip this on or off. You know, the one concern, the one trail you could is that if this thing transmits in and someone picks it up, but that's small potatoes. You've got this pretty well locked.
Let's get the Kark out of here, boys
Hell yeah.
and girls.
Yeah, sweet. So you mount up, and as Kiana's backed off, she's not on a bike. Boom, 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 boom. All 4 of your bikes right out of here before any more hidden becks come along. And you've made it out. You've gotten the ginger spice. You definitely pissed off the hidden becks. You know you're going to make a real sweet payday if you deliver the stuff to Hajur the hut. But nobody knows where Dwang is. So, yeah.
Dwang always show up. Usually smelling worse than he did when he left.
Let's just hope he's got the spice.
Let's hope he's not taking the spice.
Cool. Do we that kind of feels like an in session, end episode type deal? We don't know where Dwang is. You guys have the spice. You've defeated your rivals, at least for this day. That is cool. So let's go to the end of session stuff and ask some questions here. Experience and gaining experience. All right. At the end of each ride, the entire table of GM players should discuss the following questions. Did you clash with someone who threatened your people, your club, and the locals who matter to you? Each other can also be your people. I feel like, yeah, you guys had each other's back. You were covering it for each other. So, yeah. Did you add to the legend of your gang? Yeah, stole a bunch of ginger spice from the hidden becks. Did you have a conflict with your rivals or the law? For sure, totally. So that's 3 XP for everybody. Now I pose this question to each player, and they'll answer for their own Swoop Biker. However, other players can chime in if the person says no and you think it should be a yes. If they say yes and you think it should be a no, you and I can talk later, but we're not trying to argue people out of XP here on a short session game. So I'm going to start from the right-hand side of the character keeper, heading towards the left. So Wild Thing, you're the first to answer the questions. Did you live up to your rep or fulfill your role in the gang?
Who's that going to?
It's going to Wild Thing. Sorry, I was speaking a little quickly.
Oh, no worries. I think I did.
Yeah. Did you support another teammate when they needed you? Wow. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Like, not even a question. You spent all your karks on helping other people. So 2 more XP.
I did have 8 of them.
You have a total of 5. Then let's move slightly to the left, which means it is Dwang's turn. Did you live up to your rep or fulfill your role in the gang?
Yeah, I think blowing into the place and hit, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I think so.
Did you support another teammate when they needed you?
I think the support of Clutch at the end, trying to make sure he had enough time to finish that fancy stuff he was doing, whatever it was.
Whatever that was.
Yeah, whatever it was.
5 XP for you as well. Let's move to the middle here. Clutch, our road captain. Did you fulfill your rep, live up to your rep, or fulfill your role in the gang?
Yeah, I think I fulfilled my role in the gang. It didn't descend into chaos. People listened to the small plan I had. And even when it went south, they stuck with it. So, yeah.
Sounds great. Did you support another teammate when they needed you?
I did spend a cart to assist somebody, but I cannot remember what it was.
I agree. You did. I remember that. Fantastic. So that's 5 XP for you as well. Twang. Did you live up to your rep or fulfill your role in the gang?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think that talk down at the end, that sort of chaplain-y type, you said you were sort of fire and brimstone talker. So, yeah, I sort of think you did.
Yeah, and I mean, either way, you're a member and you took part in the fighting. So I don't think there's any question about that.
All right, so that's an XP. And then, did you support another teammate when they needed you? Yeah, you had wild things back. I remember. What about you? Think that jive with what you remember?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay, 5 XP for you. And then, last but certainly not least, Crusher. Did you fulfill your role or live up to your rep?
I'm not sure. Is rep a mechanical thing or is it just no?
Whatever rep you told us your character's about, did you play that character? It's pretty loose.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I took part. I did my part in the job.
Yep.
I think you totally did, because I think you were there like watching Clutch's back and like trying to sort of like coordinate between the 3 different groups of people, right? Like you said you're the sort of
making sure we get all this juicy money.
That's right. And then did you help out another member of the gang? For sure. Okay. That's 5 XP for you. All right. We still have a few more minutes before the hour is up. So let's transition to the more customary feedback I like to do of stars and wishes. We start off with wishes so that we can end with stars. Wishes are pieces of feedback, like critical feedback, or it could be, I wish, like, we've got 5 sessions, friends. Only 1 is done now. So I wish that we could see this thing come to fruition, or I'm really excited about X or Y conflict or opportunity. That can be a wish. Also, I wish I had a little more understanding about so-and-so roles, or I feel like we had an opportunity to do so-and-so thing and it didn't happen. I bundle all that together. And then just as a reminder, I am the son of a Marine Corps sergeant who became a high school principal. So please do not worry about critical feedback. I am perfectly comfortable with it and I don't take offense. So it only makes things better, especially as we kind of tweak, right? First session in 5, I want to make sure we're all on the same page. So who'd like to go first with wishes?
I can go first.
All right, Will.
And I think wish-wise, I enjoyed, like a score and a takedown kind of thing, but I'd like to see, and it's always difficult, right? But like a little bit of like solo trouble or like duo trouble, you know what I mean? Like these TV shows and gangs and things always work better when there's like 3 different messes as well as the mess that your main gang is involved in, kind of stuff. Like maybe one of us has an affair with a black vulture or whatever, you know what I mean? Like just throwing some complications.
I agree. Absolutely. That is a thing I desperately want to happen as well. I'm with you. Anything else, Will?
No, I'll stick to 1 and then, we'll see how it goes from there, basically.
Okay,
Because
cool.
we had races and shootouts and things this session, so let's see how it goes from there.
All right. Sounds good, Will. Who's next with wishes?
I'll go next. So I think the natural progression is after a big action thing, we'll have some downtime. I'd like to see a little bit more social interaction, not just with the crew and the people, but maybe social interaction with like the Vulcars and the Becks. So Dwayne's going to be really bad at that. He's going to mouth off and do stupid crap. But I think that'll feel good for the difference between, we hit the warehouse and then we have to talk about it. And maybe someone comes and, the Becks come and they chew on us a little bit or something like that. That whole social fight kind of thing. That'll be good.
I like that too. I'm thinking like to facilitate that, that the upper city, if you guys remember the Hajur, you'll probably be going to him. And I'm imagining the upper city dueling ring is considered like it's number one upper city, number two, maybe it's a pox, like there's a pax, there's a peace. The gangs don't fight here. Right. So it'd be one of those where you guys can mouth each other off and maybe you'll go meet somewhere else, but you definitely don't throw down here type deal.
That's I really like that. That sounds great.
Good. So that'll facilitate that. Awesome. Thank you, Stephen. So Anders, Brian, or Paul, who'd like to go next with wishes?
Yeah, sure. I'd like to see the sort of Velo story play out a bit now that we've done something with him and create a little bit of backstory there.
Mm-hmm.
Just develop that a little bit further. It doesn't have to be the main thing, but a little bit more of that.
Yeah. Some payoff for your mole. That sounds great. I agree. I'm looking forward to that too. Okay, thanks, Paul. So Anders or Brian, who'd like to go next with wishes?
I thought it was interesting that Velo had been owned by the Black Sun before. Bringing that in could be interesting.
Yeah, I like that too.
I would just like to add another wish. I would really love to frack with Black Sun, like really, really.
That is dangerous stuff. I love it. All right, Brian, what about you? Got any wishes?
A lot of what I would want has been covered.
Okay.
Trying to think of this. Yeah.
All right. Well, we've got a week between sessions. So, Brian, if you think about anything, hit me up on Slack, shoot me an email, anything along those lines. You went last on Karks. Sorry, I got it stuck on my brain because the text chat. Let me deal with that while we're in the wishes. So there was an interesting point brought up of like, does Kark transfer from session to session, or do you re-roll each time? I'm really interested in the idea of re-rolling it at the beginning of each session because it kind of sets the table of like how good or bad you're feeling. Are people interested in exploring that?
The only concern I would have about that is it de-incentivizes the need to go. What are the ways to get Karks back?
Well, refresh scenes, charity,
deeds,
bonding,
basically.
that kind of stuff.
And then beating the crap out of stuff is in there too, I think.
Yeah.
Vigilante
Duracrete justice.
So I think it's important that we also have those scenes, and rolling for it is fine. I think that'll bring us back into the story. I'm a little concerned. I don't want the next scene to all about me just trying to get enough Karks in order to be able to do something else.
Right.
So I think just starting with something sounds good.
Okay. That's a really cool thing because that is really interesting. So let's do that. Let's say that next session we roll and so when you lose all your Karks, unless you the player say, no, this is when my Swoop Biker dies, then next session you roll. But you can also get Karks back during a ride or during a session as well using the refresh thing. I like that.
The other thing that helps with is it makes it easier for you to help your crew by spending Karks.
Right. You don't feel like you're going to get screwed. Although I will tell you, like the cycle within a session is normally like do some action early on, spin some karks, and then refresh scenes will happen kind of immediately after. It's the same pattern as like hit the streets and that kind of stuff. But I do think this is a really interesting tweak that I want to try. So we'll give that a shot. Brian, you were the last to go with wishes. It means you get to be the first with stars. Stars is any particular moment that you thought was pretty cool, like a highlight or player's choice, anything like that. You got a star or two to throw out?
Oh, just stars all around. A bunch of great characters, and yeah, looking forward to getting to know them better.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks, Brian. And Anders, do you have any stars you would hit out?
Yeah, same. Fun characters, an interesting setup for a job for you, Rich. And
Nice.
yeah. No, I enjoyed everything.
Good. Paul, any stars?
Yeah, to the table. I mean, you know, we kept it within Star Wars. I think for the majority of that, you know, by everybody really. And to you, Rich, you know, good pace. You know, there was a lot of action there, which, you know, it's a game that I think suits that. So really, really good.
Thanks, Paul. Steven, any stars?
Yeah, I really enjoyed some of the character highlights, like Clutch's idea of making Velo, putting a bug on Velo so that we could see a little bit more about what was going on with the Becks. I think that's a really good idea. I really liked, Will, I liked your interaction with Wild Thing and the voices that you had and all that kind of stuff. And I find both Crusher and Twang's characters really evocative. I can't wait to see where they go. Like, you know, I want to see more from the chaplain and more. To be honest, Anders, I really like the picture that you've chosen for your character. It's really awesome. So, yeah.
Sweet. Thank you, Steven. I really appreciate that. Will, you're the last to go with stars.
I really liked, you know, the slicing into the droids thing as well. I really liked Dwang crashing into the back of, you know, taking the
So
spice, crashing
wild.
around, going around everywhere. I very much enjoy the wildcard character. And, you know, I enjoyed having like a warrior almost in Crusher kind of thing, like, you know, guys, it's all kicking off. Come on, we got to get out of here, like panicking sort of thing. And Twang, I'm very glad that you went with the like talk her down, because that's what it felt like to me, right? Is that now we outnumber her, and like, you know, and I like the idea that we're not going to just go around like straight up murdering everyone. Like it's brawls, they're scuffles, right? When someone dies who's a named character within our groups, I feel like it should be like vendetta time. You know what I mean? Like it's very personal, unless it's stormtroopers, basically.
Yeah, I like that choice that you guys made of like, no, we're not going to kill all these folks. I was perfectly open to the possibility of it happening, so don't feel like I had any like, oh, my precious. But still, I think it's more fun to have reoccurring nemesis, and you guys allowed that to happen, so that was great. I really enjoyed these characters. Jump off the page, some cool folks. I love that we have our token human. I don't know if I've ever had a Towels PC. I say that now, and I'm probably like making one person mad, and that's terrible. It makes me feel bad, but yeah, Talos is a crazy species, and only the second dog. So I love these picks, love the characters, and I'm really excited with the rank and position within the club thing. That's a new addition to Swoop Gangs, and I like that you guys like jumped in on those. I was curious if anybody would choose president or vice president, and I had my suspicions that a bunch of indie, you know, dirty hippie indie gamers, nobody would say they're the leader. So I love that I was able to slip in on Paul, like, sorry, you're the road captain. But you did a great job, by the way, Paul. I really like Clutch is the boss.
Thanks.
It's good. Like this is working out really, really well. Having a good time. Oh,
I'd
sorry.
like to put a star out just to say that I'm glad that I'm not the leader in this one. Because I just usually end up being the leader in these things.
It's true. It's true. It's nice that you just get to be a Slimo amongst the gang, doing your enforcer stuff. It's good. Awesome. thank you all so much. We'll go ahead and bring the recording to a close at this point.